Hi everyone, welcome to a nice sunny but windy blustery day here. Today we're going to get some updates done of the grow kits, so we'll rattle through as many of them as we can. So these are going to be a series of episode 3s of the grow kits. So let's get inside and let's do bonsai. So here we are back inside and we have the Panekoo Bonsai grow kit. This is going to be episode 3 of this kit. We've done the stratification processes for all the seeds now. The maples, the flame and the Amur maple, the Japanese maple and the flame Amur maple have both been in cold stratification, so they will be coming out and going into some nice little pots to get some, hopefully get some germination out of those. The other ones that came out of cold stratification are in December. They've been sat on the shelf in the tents, and we've had very little from each of the Hinoki and the Bald Cypresses, but one of them, and we'll bring him out to show him, the one of the little Bald Cypress has decided to grow. So if we can get him out without damaging him. Here he is in all his glory. In a nice damp pot, so the bags have done their job. I didn't have to do much watering at all to any of these bags, just I think I sprayed them once during the process of them being in there. But there he is, little Bald Cypress. He's had his first set of leaves and now the true leaves coming in out of the top. What we're going to do is plant him on into one of these pots and just let him grow now and see how well he can do. And then if any of the other seeds that happen to be at the top of that pot grow, we'll obviously get those as well. But there he is in all his pride. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of screen in the bottom of this pot, which I've still got some of the old door screen. So we'll just cut a piece of that. Just need to find my scissors. There we go. And Bonsai Jay's trick, turn the pot upside down and trim to fit the bottom of the pot. Put that into the bottom. And I'll just fill that up to a bit of a level. With some of our bonsai soil mix. And we want it just so that the pot disappears to the lip of this newer pot, which is about there. And then I'm just going to try and lose the soil down and round the edges so that the compost pot sits nice and stable and doesn't lean over, and just sits there nicely. Taking a bit more filling than I thought, but there we go. Just keep scooping and turning, scooping and turning. And this will give us a nice little bonsai level soil leveling at the top, and hopefully that little fellow can carry on. Now we will label him as the Bald Cypress from the Panekoo kit, so let's get a label from that. And as far as I'm concerned, really, if we get one nice tree to make a bonsai out of these kits, then we've done as well as buying a bonsai tree off the internet or out of a bonsai shop, store or a garden centre, and we've had the pleasure of having it since day one. So if we get one, I think we can consider the kit a success. If you got nothing, obviously that's going to be devastating and miserable and heartbreaking, but to have this one little fella that's popped up out of this kit, as long as he makes it, as long as we look after him and he keeps flourishing, I'll consider this kit a success. Every kit that we get one out of, as long as we get one, I'll consider that a success. So let's get a label on the pot. Panekoo Bonsai Kit, and it was originally started back in the 24th of September, 24th of September 19, and it's now moved on, and it's the 1st of the 3rd 2020 at this stage of moving on into a larger pot, although we've kept it in the compost pot. I just don't want to disturb the roots. I want it to be able to try and keep going. So there it is, Panekoo Bonsai Kit growing on. The only thing that I have forgot to do is let's write what it is. So we'll just put Bald Cypress, and he'll get a nice position in the tent upstairs, and we'll keep him growing. What I am going to do with the rest of these is I've got another one of these plastic trays that comes from the garden centres. I'm going to fill these up with a level of soil. I'm going to pop these in to a certain level, and then just put them in the greenhouse and just see if we get anything from them. If we do, fantastic. If we don't, at least we've continued to give them a try to grow. So I'll get some, it has got some big holes in the bottom, so our soil will disappear. So I'll get some screens in the bottom of each of those, get a level of soil in, and then we'll come back and put these in. So here we are back with our reclaimed tray, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Hinoki in this row and the Bald Cypress in this row, and then just fill with bonsai soil around it, just like we did the Bald Cypress that we just took out and repotted on. So we'll just take them out one at a time. So this is a Hinoki, so I'll start at the back. Hinoki, another Hinoki, squeeze this one out of the bag. You'd think it'd be easier given the fact there's no plant in it, but it isn't any easier. Another Hinoki in there, and we may as well go for the third and last Hinoki. And we'll get that one out of its bag. They are still nice and damp, so the seeds will be nice and damp inside. Bald Cypress coming out of its bag. Put that in, and the last Bald Cypress, just trying this a different way. No, I think I'm just going to keep pushing it from the bottom. And what we'll do is we'll just fill this up with soil around the edges, just so they can't fall over and drop all over the place. This little scoop's nice and handy, but it does take a while to do this sort of task with the little scoop. I do actually see the beginnings of a little green seedling there, so we might have a little bit more coming out of one of the Bald Cypresses. And possibly there's a little bit of something showing from one of the hinockeys. So we'll get these filled in, watered up and placed into the greenhouse. Don't really want to get too much into the top of these pots like we did with the last one. And I am going to have to go and get another pot of soil. So that's that all done. I'm going to come in with some water now, just to soak in the, I'm going to have to remove, this is a new bottle but it's still got the bottom piece on, and I'm just going to take that away. To allow this top to screw down as far as it can, because it's squirting out all over the place, and that's better. We can get a nice squirt without it coming out of the sides of the cap. So get it nice and wet through. There are holes at the bottom of this, so it will disappear and flow through all the soil, go through all nicely, making sure that all that bonsai soil is nice and wet through. And then this can go in the greenhouse and see if we get anything from it. I will also water through our little Bald Cypress seedling ready for it going into the tent back upstairs. So we'll get cleaned up a little bit and we will plant on the maples. So for the maples, we're going to pot these on into some compost pots, and if I remember rightly, in the grow kit we still had a number of pots, etc. So we'll get one out for the maple flame mûr and one out for the maple Japanese maple. We still have some soil, so we can put some soil into these little pots. I'm just contemplating going for 2 in each, 2 pots maybe. So we will have 2 flame and 2 Japanese. So if we just get some soil into each of these compost pots, might be easier to scoop it maybe. Maybe if we just take a little bit out of there. The scooping was easy, but you can't really gauge how much is going in. So this soil should have plenty of nutrients and plenty of goodness for the seeds to take some feed from, so we shouldn't need to put too much feed into anything. We'll just need to be watering. There is some little bits of perlite in there which will allow the soil to be oxygenated as it's watered. So there we go. Right, let's go away with the soil, and what we might do is start using that for some other things going forward. We have our little squeezy bottle. To be able to dampen the soil down. I think we'll be using a bit more than that. We'll go in with the squeezy bottle at some stage. So we'll go with the flame first, and if we take half of the soil, put that into that pot, and then the other half of the soil we'll place into that pot, and we'll just in case there's anything left in, we'll shake that through and in, and then we'll just break the soil up so that any seeds that are there can have a free run at growing through. And then if we do the same with the Japanese maple, split across, we'll try and just pour that one in. There you go, and just make sure if we get anything that's fallen out into there. There was a seed there that had fallen through, so we'll just put that through. Break that one through just to make sure if the seed is there it's not trapped in and it can grow nicely. So we'll come in with a watering bottle system and just give a nice dose of water to all that soil, and we should see the compost pots start absorbing the water as it extracts it, sucks it out of the soil. But the soil down below needs quite a bit. So we'll put some oxygen holes into the bag as we do normally, and we'll drop that Japanese maple into its bag. We'll get the flame maple into its bag, and then we do have some new bags, but in the interest of being green, we will use a couple of the cleaner bags from there. So we'll get a couple of labels. There's our labels, and Flame Amur Maple originally started back on the 24th September 19, and it's now the 1st of March 2020 as we're hoping to germinate, and it's the Panekoo Kit. So that's for that bag, and then this side is the Japanese maple, originally 24/9/19, and now it's the 1st of the 3rd 2020 of the Panekoo Kit. So we'll get these bagged up and put into the tent to begin its germination process. I will water these additionally later on because that won't have been enough, and the pot is going to absorb a lot of the moisture, so I'll water them accordingly later on. The Bald Cypress, our little Bald Cypress, will go in the tent also, or one of the tents also, and then the other cypresses that haven't done anything yet will go out into the greenhouse where they can get the sunlight and the normal sun, not taking up the space in the tent, and we'll see how we go. So for this kit, that is episode 3 of the Panekoo Kit. We do have some success with the little Bald Cypress. So the kit has been successful. It's provided us with something. Let's just hope we can keep it growing on. And for now, that's me, Scott Winard. This is Let's Do Bonsai, and we'll see you in the next one.